meeting to order and ask for a roll call.
Blunier.
Here.
Hilliard.
Here.
Leach.
Here.
Menold.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
Parrott.
Here.
We have a quorum.
If you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everyone here today. There is no public hearing or presentations or special reports, but we would take public comment now if anyone has anything to say. They can come up to the microphone. All right. If not, the consent agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes, the regular board meeting December 19th, 2022, the closed session December 19th, 2022, and the approval of the bills. If we could have a motion.
I move to approve. Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Parrott.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I have nothing tonight. Village clerk,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
village administrator.
I have nothing on the agenda, but I do have briefly a summary of the 2022 receipts for sales tax. We received $5,256,000 this year in sales tax, which is up $214,000 from the prior year.
Well, that's good news. So thanks for shopping local. Chief of Police.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Corporation Counsel.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Public Works.
One item tonight, Your Honor. In front of you, I have item A. This is a motor fuel tax resolution for 2023 seal coating work.
You have a motion?
So moved. Second. I bring this to you. Unfortunately, motor fuel tax for us is appropriated on calendar year, and our work's done on fiscal. So I'm trying to get ahead on it. We've finalized some streets internally, but I still need to get approval from you guys. So without going through that, I intend to come forward later. It's a lot easier to amend these than it is to come with new later on. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Leach.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrott.
Yes.
Motion carries.
That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
All right, zoning and code enforcement, Brad?
I have several items tonight, Your Honor. 3 items on the agenda, but the first item is not on the agenda. I did give a copy to each trustee and you. It's the 2022 annual recap for the Village of Morton, the building permits. So I was able to compile the kind of the numbers that compare from year to year for the past 5 years. I think some of the most glaring is our total permits were 693 permits this year, and we were at 545 last year, 579 in 2020. So that number increased substantially. The total evaluation was up from 16 million to 36 million over, and I do credit that to Precision Planting. So if you notice, like on the miscellaneous, now miscellaneous would consist of electrical, plumbing, which we don't really put evaluations to. It would also include a lot of the smaller permits, fences, accessory buildings, and such like that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything.
And you had 645 permits for miscellaneous.
Yes, but that would include plumbing, electrical, like smaller items. A lot of them we don't put evaluation to.
Excuse me, Brad, that would include like solar installations also, right?
Yes, and I don't have those numbers on here. I probably should start putting them on, but I do remember seeing I believe we did 80 roof mount solar residentials this last year. And I would anticipate that'll continue to be a high number. Along with a roof mount solar, an electrical permit is also required. So of the 89, there's 160 permits.
Wow. That'd put you over 850 permits for the year.
Yes, well,
No.
those are included in
Those
these
are
numbers,
included?
yes.
All right. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
So the first item on the agenda is petition number 22-08ZA.
Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
The proposed petition is zoning amendment request for the property located at 316 South Main Street. The proposed zoning changes from B2 zoning to B3 zoning. You should have received in your packet the minutes and transcripts from the Plan Commission meeting. This petition was not given a favorable recommendation by the Plan Commission. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Trustees, any questions? All right, call the roll.
Blunier,
No.
Hilliard,
No.
Leach,
No.
Menold,
No.
Newman,
No.
Parrot.
No.
Motion fails.
The next item is petition 22-09 SP.
If we could have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
The proposed petition is a special use request for the property located at 3900 West Jackson Street. The proposed special use would allow outdoor storage of motorhomes, boats, trailers, operable vehicles, one property owner-owned tractor, and any items that are presently stored outside that are beyond the scope of the prior list but must be removed within 36 months of the awarded special use. The owner is required to install and maintain an arborvitae row spaced at 4 feet apart on the Victor Street side of the property. Along with this, also completing the permanent fencing in the same area by August 1st of 2023. And this petition was given a favorable recommendation by the Plan Commission. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Just one point of clarification, the matter, as Brad just explained, would be conditions on the award of the special use per the recommendation of the Plan Commission. So if you were to vote favorably, those would be imposed as conditions on the award of this special use.
If we wanted to have a minimum height on the arborvitae, should we include that as well?
If you desire to make an amendment to the conditions recommended by the Plan Commission, that would be the appropriate time to do that.
I would like to make that amendment that any of the arborvitae that are planted would have a minimum of 4-foot height. Trustee Parrott has talked to Mr. Zimmerman, and he said that's what he was planning. I would just like to make sure that we put it in, that they're 4 foot.
With the consent of the movant and the party who seconded, that could be a friendly amendment. Otherwise, Trustee Leach would need to make a motion to make that an amendment. We need a second to act on that before the underlying action. I don't recall who made the motion and the second.
I think I made the second, so I'll.
Made the motion.
Is that friendly amendment accepted by both Trustee Newman and Trustee Barrett?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments?
Just one question, is the list of neighbors, is this a list of neighbors that said I'm good with this? Is that what that's supposed to be?
That's the list of neighbors that are within 250 feet of the property that received the notice. So that, no, it doesn't say anything about if they're good or not with it. It's that those are the ones that were notified.
So they were notified, but nobody responded necessarily?
No one spoke at the Plan Commission from the public on this case.
It seems fairly secluded, but
It is,
I'm just
yes.
curious.
Good questions, any more? If not, call the roll.
Parrot,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Menold, Leach,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The last item tonight, Your Honor, is an ordinance making amendments to Title 10 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding dance, music, and art studios in the B2 zoning district.
Have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
So this ordinance was brought forward by the Plan Commission. The proposed ordinance would insert dance, music, and art studios as a special use in the B2 zoning district. I did provide the minutes and transcripts from the Plan Commission meeting to give you more context. The proposed ordinance was given a favorable recommendation by the Plan Commission. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments?
Just have a quick comment, just to make a kind of point of clarification for those that weren't at the planning meeting, just to make sure we're all on the same page here. This is to allow for a business to apply for a special use permit in B2 for dance. It is not granting a special use permit to any business. It is just to allow for a dance studio to be located in the B2 zoning district, not a specific building.
With special use.
Yes, with a special use. Thank you.
Just building on that, if I may.
Yes.
So if this ordinance were to be adopted tonight, then a party interested in having a dance studio in the B2 zoning district could then apply for a special use. There would be a public hearing on that special use request. That special use request would come back to the board. If granted by the board, before that use could be placed in, could be implemented, there would also be a site plan review process, which would have to be engaged in, and an approved site plan submitted to the village and approved by the village before the use could actually begin.
Would the special use, would that go to the planning commission first and
Yes.
then to us? Okay.
That's correct. And on the corresponding end, if this ordinance were to be voted down tonight, there would be no available special use for dance studio, and so no application should be made for that request.
If I may, I think this is very important that we allow our process to work within our village. The planning commission is appointed by the mayor. They are volunteers. And frankly, they are people in high regard in our community. And I can go down the names. I'll recognize most of them. Gerald Ritterbush, Chad DeWeese, Bill Opperly, Michael Yorty, Phil Zobers, Pat McGrath.
I'm not on the commission.
Well,
as a matter of fact.
You were there.
I was there.
It says you were there.
Yep, I was there.
Brad Marks, village employee, Karen Epp, Nate Gill, and Craig Hilliard was there as well. What does the planning commission do? They are commissioned from this board of trustees to conduct public hearings on all amendments to the Morton zoning ordinance, annexations, planned residential developments, plats, rezoning, special use, and subdivisions, and forwarding its findings of fact and recommendations to the board of trustees, being us. I know everybody understands that, and I read that right off of our website. Excuse me, I don't know that by heart. But anyway, I just feel strongly that this process needs to go through as planned. For us to vote this down would be a mistake, and it would be it's just not right. Frankly, this whole situation, if I may speak on this, I think I only know about 5 or 6 people that's against this very thing in the community. And I've talked to lots of people that are in the know, people that used to work for the village, that know the process, legal people, and I don't know anybody that's against this except a half dozen people in a town of 17,117, I think, or something. It's also a known entity. The company that we're talking about, they're a known entity. They are in business in our town, doing a very good job. I've been in business my whole life. I get it. And I've made a mistake before, and there was a mistake made. We all understand. This should have been talked about prior. Mistakes made. But now, what can we do? And I like to always do the right thing. I've been on a lot of boards in my life, and I've always come to the board open mind and not be a crusader, not have an agenda, but try to do the right thing. And this is a bunch of little girls that take a class, and there's a big deal about parking. I've talked to a lot of the people that, the parents, they don't park there. They pull in, drop their child off, girls, boys, I guess, and leave. And they come back, pull up, get their kids, and go on. I think it's an ideal spot, frankly, and I don't get it. This has been going on for 6 months, maybe longer, and I just think it's, I know that our employees, they have to bring this up because our current zoning doesn't allow it. I get it, I'm with you. But, you know, we don't hardly ever kill any little girls or boys on Jefferson Street. Frankly, I don't think we've killed one, or one got hurt. I get it, it's a safety thing. Jason Miller, you agree, it's a safety thing. But this is a safer place than where they're at, and it's an expansion. I just think that it needs to go. Let the process go through. And to say, nope, we know, us guys here know more than Phil Zobrist and Bill Hopperly and Michael Yorty and all these guys. It's ridiculous. We're all people that wants what's best for the community. And for us to bow up and say, absolutely not, because spot zoning or whatever, okay, I get it. I get that whole thing. But this needs to go through tonight, let the process work. Planning Commission has several times came to us and say, yes, this is a reasonable thing to do. And that we're so smart that we'd say, nope, those guys don't know what they're talking about, we're going to vote it down. I think it's just wrong. And again, I understand this should have been decided before they moved in. Somebody made a mistake, but now here we are, and let's do the right thing.
From what I understand, listening to the Planning Commission meeting, Carrie Neeb did quite a bit of research. Carrie Knapp, I guess. And it appears that what's being proposed here is pretty consistent with what's zoning is in other local communities as far as B2 type zoning. I'm not certain whether it's special use in other communities, but certainly within B2 type zone. So again, I see that this does make sense to allow dance studios and the like in B2 zoning. Again, especially adding the special use to it allows the village to still maintain some control. And I think it's just wrong to relegate dance studios to B3. So I very much support what's been proposed here.
Anyone else?
I just have a couple comments, and I understand Ms. Knapp did quite a bit of research, but what she identified on some of those other communities and how they were zoned, it was different numbers. I don't know all the particulars of how that is without checking with them, but I don't believe that we go and we check with Canton, Peoria Heights, or any other community to decide how we're going to govern. And I think that we do on our own. And I agree that the Planning Commission has a job to do, but I disagree that this is about little girls. This is about a type of a business on a property that is not zoned for that, and we're looking at whether or not we want to move it into a property, into a variance under that. That's what we're looking at. And the age
of the individuals which may utilize it is not relevant to that.
I disagree. Right now, we're not looking at a particular property. We're looking at B2 zoning.
I agree with
Special
that.
use.
I stand corrected on that. But this is about a property, that's what it's been brought up. This is about the property at 316. It was said in the petition. So I'll give you to a point, but it isn't the petition on that property, and that's the property that was brought up to the planning commission on making this into a variance. So I'm not going to argue back and forth on that. I understand what you're saying.
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes?
Parrot.
Yes.
Leach.
No.
Hilliard.
No.
Blunier.
No. Need to call a clarification on a 3-3 vote on
No.
ordinance.
Motion fails.
I have nothing else tonight, Your Honor.
All right, village trustees, do you have anything tonight? All right, we do need a closed session.
Closed session is requested tonight pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C2 to discuss salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
If we could have a motion to go to closed session,
So moved.
Second.
call the roll.
Blunier.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Menold. Newman.
Yes?
Parrot. Motion carries.